Your house could change, your health could change, your relationships could change, your finances could change. All of these things in our life can change, and not even because we want them to change. There could be something exterior that's happening that's going to make us and force us to change those things. There is one thing, though, that no matter what, you have control over. And that is your own personal development. I'm going to break down to you in this video why the best investment that you can make is your own personal development. Because once you start to change, everything could start changing for you. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to it, my name is Ben Itchworth. I'm a high performance coach and I help people live both a richer personal and professional life. If you are looking to live a wealthier life, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. I always heard these ideas that we should be working on ourselves, but until I heard it from a man by the name of Jim Rohn, I didn't really internalize it. One of the biggest ideas that he shared with millions of people is that if you want things to get better, you have to get better. And most people are so focused on working on their business and their health and their relationships. And those are all really important, especially if you're on this channel. You know, we're going to dive into all of these things specifically. But recognizing that at the basis of all those things really comes us. We are the one variable that is going to be the same in no matter what category you're speaking about. So until we can become somebody, until we can start setting our standards at a certain level, everything else is going to be balanced based on that. So recognizing when we want to be working on ourselves, it is so key to realize that the things that we need to be doing are so important, and the development that we need to be building on the inside is going to make all the difference for the success that we have in all areas of our life. So here are some of the pointers that I started working on when I started my own personal development journey. The first really cool idea about it is that we're all sort of on the same playing field when we start. No, of course, certain people are growing up in different countries. Certain people are born into families that might be financially more stable than others. But if you think about it, wherever we are born, that's where we were born. If somebody was quote unquote born on a different level than somebody else, it doesn't really make sense because we all have the things that we need to be working on and we need to be focusing on. Whether somebody's a 2 and goes to a 5 or somebody's a 7 and goes to a 10, doesn't really matter because the growth is really what we need to be comparing with one another. It doesn't matter where you start out, it just matters on how much you're actually working on yourself. So to me, I always felt that people had the same advantage in terms of their own personal development based on where they started off. The second idea is that every single night we all go to sleep with ourselves. Meaning we put our head on our pillow, we close our eyes, and we have to live with ourselves. And yeah, some people might be making a tremendous amount of money, or some people might be the healthiest that they've ever been. But how's the rest of their life looking? And somebody who's constantly working on themselves, somebody who is a successful person, is going to try to be successful in all areas of their life. They're not going to just focus on one specific area, but they're going to live a wealthy life across the board. And that is something that is so key when it comes to personal development, because you're keeping an eye on the prize, and the prize is life in general and not necessarily one specific field. So when you go to sleep at night and you know that you were the best husband, you were the best sibling, you were the best boss, you were the best employee, whatever it is that you were doing is something that you can sleep with at night and realize that I did a good enough job and that's okay. I'm going to get it again tomorrow and I'm going to continue growing on this development journey. Another key idea is to understand that you can lose it all, but if you become somebody who is that type of person, you can gain it back. And what I mean by that is that so many people are so impressed with people who become millionaires. But the person who built up an empire and made $10 million versus the person who was handed $10 million, you can't really compare the two of them. Because if they both lost it in the market, which one is more likely to be able to build up the $10 million business once again? The guy who already did it once before. So if you're becoming somebody who is going to be somebody who is a more patient person, somebody who is a more confident person, you can get hit in the face and you can fall down, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to step back into it because you've done the work before, and that's just who it is. What you get and what you accomplish isn't really the main point. It's who you're becoming in that process, because if you can become somebody who can do those things, then you're that person no matter if you lost it or you didn't. The fourth point is this idea of that we need to learn to master our mind. We need to know that if we can master our mind, then we can really master our life. The saying goes that the glass is half full and half empty. And wherever you're focusing on, that's the part that's going to fill up the rest of the cup. So whether you're negative, everything else is going to be negative, even if things are going well. And if you're positive, then everything can be positive, even if things might not be so great. Recognizing that the things that we're focused on is going to be so key, because then we can really start to understand and gauge what it is that we're going through, what is going on in our life. We don't have to live with anxiety or pressure or nerves because we're really focused on the good things. And I know it sounds cheesy and all, but think about it. If you were a more confident person, how much more success would that bring you? If you were a more decisive person, how many more decisions would you be able to make in the long run? All of these things of working on yourself are so key and so important. It's why I spend my life trying to help people do these things, because if somebody could just make one shift, then everything can change for them. And that's the real beauty about it, because we are all going on our own personal development journeys, regardless of whether you want to be proactive about it or not. The people who are thinking about it and the people who are conscious about it, they're actually working on themselves and building the muscles. So when people go through difficult things, it's just like somebody is going to the gym and working out. You might think, why am I sore after I do a workout? I don't like that feeling. But somebody who goes to the gym consistently enough knows, no, that's a good feeling. That means I'm actually growing. So when somebody in life goes through something and they don't like that and they're getting uncomfortable, so instead of thinking, I don't like this feeling, I want to avoid it, they actually approach it and they face it and they say, you know what? Even though this thing is uncomfortable, even though I'm nervous or I have anxiety right now, this is an opportunity for me to work on myself. So the next time this happens, I'm actually going to be better at this. And that is the difference between somebody who's looking to work on themselves and somebody who's not looking to work on themselves. We're all doing it, but are we avoiding these things, or we're actually facing them and we're actually owning them? All right, Bennett. So now you have me. I want to start working on my personal development, but what do I work on? And that is the first question most people ask, because they want to start on this journey. And that is a great question. And it ties into my video about disciplines, but really understanding that the first thing we have to realize is that everything is really connected to everything else. Where you're going to start and where somebody else is going to start are going to be two totally different places. But you should start where you want to start. What I mean by that is start somewhere easy, but start in a place that you know you can accomplish and you know that you'll do it. For example, I personally started just walking around the block. I would take my headphones, I would walk around. It was a 7-minute walk around my block. And I knew if I would do that, that would start to lead to other things. The next thing I did was I took an apple and I started eating. I started having an apple a day. The third thing was I started making my walk a little longer, so it was more of a 15 or 20-minute walk. Then I started to work out. Then I started doing deep breathing. Then I started doing more of the meditation style deep breathing. And all of these certain things really happened to me because I started with just the walk around the block. A couple of months after I actually started doing this, I actually became an entrepreneur. I had the courage to quit my job and to actually go into something that I was really passionate about. It is so key to understand that this is all connected. So when you ask yourself, where should you start? I would ask you, where do you think you should start? And start there. Pick something simple and understand disciplines are going to build one on top of another. So you're starting off with a walk can actually lead you off living an incredible life of financial freedom, of health, of relationships, and all these amazing things. And just remember, as Jim Rohn says, more important than what you get in life is who you become. And the question is, who is it that you want to become? And is the life that you're leading right now going to lead you there? Or are there certain things that we need to start to shift to become the person that we all want to become?